Hi everyone, how you doing? Jonathan Lipp here from the Big Apple Film Festival. Welcome to BAFF Chats. We're here in Midtown Manhattan at Lara Vista Restaurant, and we are super excited that on January 19th and 20th we'll be hosting our Women's Filmmaker Showcase, which will take place at the SVA Theater. One of the films that we'll be screening is the film Summer, directed by Pearl Gluck and starring Juliet Brett and Thea McCartan and Emmy James. So we have Juliet and Thea with us today. So let's start with Juliet. If you could tell us a little bit about your role in Summer.
So I play Shawnee, the excuse me, one of the girls who goes to summer camp. She is born in a Hasidic Jewish community, and it's her first experience sort of coming to age and experiencing the summer away at camp with her best friend.
Okay. And Thea, what's your role?
My name is Thea, and I play Mrs. Schoen, who is the Rebbitzin and teacher at the girls' summer camp, and really tasked with the guidance and just sort of moral compass and leader at the camp for all the young women.
Okay. So Juliet, if you could tell us your first reaction when you read this script.
Well, it was incredible to me how human of a story it is. It's really focused on the humanity of these two young girls, with it sort of being the backdrop that they're from this community.
Right.
I was struck by the honesty of the relationship of the two girls and just the journey they go through. So that really drew me to the script.
Okay, great. And Thea, when you first read it?
Almost everything about the story was really foreign and therefore really compelling and exciting to me. Something that was, every chance you get to jump into a script that's in a different universe is just so exciting and so freeing. And this was something I wish we'd all had more time to sort of research and maybe do boots on the ground sort of infiltration, just to get a sense of the community we were portraying being a part of. But it almost doesn't matter, because like what Juliet was saying is that the story and these young women, it's sort of a universal tale. They're just in some pretty extraordinary circumstances.
Yeah, I was having that discussion actually with Pearl earlier.
Were you?
Talking about how, yes, this Hasidic Jewish community is used as, as the, for this particular story, but it's really a universal story of people sort of coming out of this shell, and sort of exploring, their identity, things like that. So, So, let me ask Juliet, when you were auditioning, how did the audition process happen? Did Pearl come and find you, or did she have an open audition call? How did that work?
It's kind of a funny story because Emmy and Emmy James, actually knew each other before. And I was next door when the auditions were happening for another project. And I ran into Emmy in the hallway and I was like, Emmy, what are you doing? And later I wrote to my agent because Emmy told me about how fascinating this script was. And he ended up emailing, yada yada. Pearl ended up setting up a meeting between Emmy and I and her. And I read through it, and I think like 2 or 3 days later, it was a pretty quick turnaround. I got the part, and very soon after we went up. So it was kind of a chance, a fate meeting.
Yeah. And Thea, so did you audition initially, or did you know Pearl from before?
No, I'd never known Pearl. It was, I guess, a pretty conventional audition experience in that I knew Caroline Sinclair, our lovely casting director. I'd auditioned for projects she'd cast before. But true story, when I got the audition, I saw the role break down, the specifics, and I just genuinely thought, oh, mistake. They have, I swear, I really genuinely thought it was a mistake. And then when I got the call back, I thought, oh, okay, well, now they know. It just didn't make sense. I didn't make the connection. I'm never one to turn down a job opportunity, but I genuinely thought, they the wrong Thea, different lady. But it was just, standard audition channels. I just didn't believe my agent. I thought they had made a horrible, horrible mistake.
What about the rehearsal process? Sorry, you Thea. Was there a lot of rehearsals, or and then actually as a second part to it, was any of it improv at all, or was this all straight scripted?
I'm trying to think back. Did we have rehearsals? You girls might have.
We Emmy and I did a couple of improvs in the rehearsal period to sort of get our backstory and build our relationship a bit as the two girls beyond our own personal relationship. But it was a pretty quick turnaround. I think we were up in sort of the second day we were there, we started shooting.
Okay. Where'd you shoot? What camp
Up in
is
the
this?
Catskills.
Oh, the Catskills. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Do you remember what the
Liberty.
Liberty?
Okay. All right.
Good diner there.
The Liberty.
Okay. So I'll start with Juliet. How is this role different than some of the other things you've done? I know you've done some theater. Is that correct?
Yes.
So how is this different than? Are you mostly a theater actress?
do
or
both.
You both. Okay.
Yeah.
So how is this role different than anything you've done before?
Well, surprisingly, I have this strange niche of playing very religious, slightly lesbian teenage girls.
Okay. It's
Don't know where that
it's
comes from.
interesting niche that you got there. Carved out for yourself. Right?
So it's very similar to a lot of roles in that sense, but it's different because, of course, this community is, I've never played someone from this community, so that research was so fascinating. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. If you want to, how is it different from anything you've done?
Completely
in the past?
different, truly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a thread, like for instance, if you play a villain, you don't think you're a villain. All villains think that they are on a path towards, whatever greatness or accomplishment they need. So, so the same way I didn't know her experience, there were things. Pearl sent me some articles, and I did a lot of reading as quickly as I could in a sort of condensed pre-production period. And there were things about this woman and what she wants to teach these girls and what she values in the ideas of modesty and piety and true devotion and just your whole being and your whole life's purpose being devoted to something so elevated and so pure. That speaks to me. I can't say I live my life that way. Being like, in the New York rat race, but there's something really compelling about that. She's a different person than I've ever played, but she's a really clear set of guidelines of how she lives her life, and she wants really good things. And I play a lot of women with authority. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she definitely has that. These young women really look up to her. Yeah. And she takes that seriously.
Tay, I want to ask you. I don't want to give away the ending, for those who are coming to the screen. But I just want to ask a general question. What would you say is there a purpose specifically that you would say is like for the end, how it ends? Is there like a certain message that's sort of supposed to come across at the end?
I feel like I was sort of sad.
Okay.
Juliet and I have never seen the film, so
it may be edited differently.
Sure, you never know.
Okay. Oh, you haven't seen.
I mean, we know what's on the page and how and whatever ambiguity or whatever ending is we're left with. Yeah. And I always like that. I always feel like what's not said is so much more interesting than what is said. Right. But I don't know. Is the message hopeful after all? I mean, the edit will tell the tale, but
I felt it was hopeful.
For Shani, I feel like it is, but she doesn't have an easy road.
Right. And Juliet, did you go into, in terms of the research, did you go into these communities at all? Did you meet any of these, did you meet any girls that are, in this community? So
we were very fortunate to have on our producing team and Pearl, the writer-director, as well as Malky and Melissa and Loser. They all, Malky and Melissa are two of our producers, and they actually were born in this community and had since left. So they were a wealth of information. They had so many interesting things to say and perspective as well. Emmy and I, right before we started the film, we actually went to the community in Brooklyn and we walked through. Pearl actually has a really wonderful MP3 walking tour that's online.
Oh, wow.
So she sent that to us, and Emmy and I followed it and walked all around the community. And, it's just interesting to see both from the external point of view and then also to get to talk to Malky and Melissa and Pearl and hear their own personal stories.
I know Loser Story's sort of out in the public now because the film One of Us is out now, which I saw at a couple festivals and on Netflix and whatnot. So that's great. Thea, did you go into the communities at all and speak with them?
I did the same tour that Juliet did, and you have Pearl's voice sort of guiding you through, and you're there in a very respectful way because you can't sort of infiltrate. It's very insular. But I was struck. I mean, I feel like I lived in New York for such a long time. I knew, but I didn't really know how thrown back and frozen in time. It was like being in a little village in Hungary, but it's Williamsburg.
Yeah.
And, just sort of respectfully walking through and going into the store she mentions. And it's really fascinating, right?
It was kind of amazing. There was one little pastry shop that Emmy and I walked into that was on the tour, and there was this woman there who was working, and she was so friendly and excited that we'd come into the shop, and she just wanted to talk to us. In a lot of ways, if you're respectful, it's a very welcoming.
Yeah.
Community.
What exactly? I'm just curious. What exactly is the walking tour she has? I spoke to Pearl earlier, but she didn't tell me about that. What exactly is that?
It's
an audio guided.
It's just an audio guided tour through Williamsburg.
Where it's a map, and she tells you she's in your ear, and she tells you where to go as you're walking.
Oh wow!
Gives you little history tidbits, and
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, it's very interesting.
It's
All right.
cool if anyone wants to check it out. It's
cool. Okay. My last question is, Juliet, beyond the film Summer, what other projects have you been working on recently? What else have you done that maybe you'd like to share?
I recently just finished an off-Broadway run at the Roundabout, a Megan Kennedy play.
Brooklyn.
Napoli, Brooklyn.
Napoli, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm heading out to LA in a few weeks as well.
Okay. Very nice. Thea, and what have you been working on or have worked on?
I'm staying put in New York.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy 15 degrees and colder. I will not sunshine, and I melt. But it's been a busy flurry of activities or projects that are all sort of in the post-production stage.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a couple things that are all doing the festival circuit now, starting in January. So I'm hoping to have a lot of time in the indie film world. And I'm really active with a terrific theater company called The Shelter. It's always producing new work. And I'm working with a company called Boomerang Theater Company this weekend on some new readings. So a lot of developmental stuff, things that have been in developmental process are now having their time in the sun, and stuff that's in the works.
Great. All right. Well, I want to thank Juliet Brett, Thea McCartan for joining me today. The film is Summer, directed by Pearl Gluck. It is screening at the Big Apple Film Festival Women's Filmmaker Showcase on January 20th at 6:30 p.m. at the SVA Theater on 23rd Street right here in New York City. Thank you all for watching. Thank you.
Thank you.